Yo ho ho, so today I'm going to do my top 5 worst books of 2016. Now there was a lot of kind of bad books in 2016, but this list consists of books that I absolutely hated, books that were just a major letdown and overhyped, and then books that just simply didn't click with me. So coming in at number 5 is Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. This was the first book that I read in 2016. It was one that just didn't click with me. I can say that the writing isn't bad, but it wasn't my type of story. I went into it thinking that it was going to be a different story to what it actually was. I thought it was going to be about a trans person, maybe a bit of a love story concerning them. It wasn't. There was a trans person in it and there was a love story in it, which I didn't enjoy, but the two weren't really connected. It was mainly a story about bereavement, and then the love story flourished from that. I found it to be quite depressing, and there's also a lot of talk of food and bonding over food, and I'm not really a food person, so I didn't enjoy that aspect of it either. Like I said, I don't think it was badly written. It was just kind of wrong place, wrong time, and the fact that I thought it was going to be something completely different to what it was. So in that sense it was a bit of a letdown, but oh well, you know, they can't all be winners. At 4 is Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay, and it absolutely pains me to put it on the list, but that has to be one of the biggest letdowns of 2016 for me. I'd seen all the positive reviews of it. I was really jazzed to finally get it out of the library after waiting so long to read it, and it just fell flat for me. I felt like there was a lot of points where she could have reiterated more and gone more into depth on certain subjects, and I would have really enjoyed it if she had. It felt in areas that she was pulling back, and I didn't like that. I wanted her to speak more on certain subjects and just go, you know, if you're going to put an opinion out there, put your whole opinion out there. Don't kind of taper it back. The other aspect of the book I didn't like was that I thought it was going to be about being an unconventional feminist by today's standards. The reason why Roxane Gay views herself as a bad feminist is because she's feminine and enjoys feminine things like wearing dresses and the colour pink, and I just thought that was like a really lame opinion. Like, I can't think of any other word than lame. I gave it 2 stars in the end. Coming in at number 3 is Waning Ghost by Pu Songling. This is one of the Penguin Little Black classics. It's a extract of Chinese folk tales / horror tales, and it's not good. I found that there was nothing memorable about it. I found it to be a poor translation. The stories themselves were very dull, and they were extremely short. A lot of them were 1 to 2 pages long, so they don't stay in your memory because you're getting through it so quickly. Avoid Waning Ghost because it is not good. Coming in at number 2 with 1 star again is Sputnik Sweetheart by Haruki Murakami. I absolutely hated this book. It's probably the one book that I read this year that just was not anything of what I look for in a book. I've wanted to read Haruki Murakami for a really long time, and now I doubt that I'll ever pick up any of his other books. It just left a really bad taste in my mouth. It was the only book of the year that when I was halfway through it, I was counting down the pages to when I was finally finished it. It was the only book of the year that I seriously contemplated DNFing it because I hated it that much, and I never DNF books. I always give something the benefit of the doubt. It was just not an enjoyable experience. The story felt very underdeveloped. It felt like connect the dots with no dots. The characters themselves were very lackluster and dull. There was absolutely no character development in it, and you just had to take the characters at their word as to why they feel the way about each other that they do. The ending really irritated me. The fact that it just kind of wrapped up in itself of being like, yeah, well, that's it. There was no actual explanation. It was just an assumption of this is what happened to this woman who's gone missing. It drove me absolutely mad. I was so irritated, and it just felt like the waste of a day when I was reading it, and I would not recommend it to anyone. To be honest, if you're thinking of starting with Haruki Murakami, don't start with Sputnik Sweetheart because it might possibly drive you demented, as it did to me. And coming in at the coveted number 1 spot on this list is A Child Called It by Dave Pelser. This was atrocious. Probably the most famous memoir on child abuse, and I would say if that's a topic that you're interested in reading, do your research first and look at all the other books that have been written on this topic and pick one of those, because there's absolutely nothing educational about this book. There's absolutely nothing uplifting about it. Pretty much from chapter 3 to the end, it is nothing but incidences of abuse. The book, I felt, should have been ghostwritten because Dave Pelser is not a good writer. He has a tendency to reuse words and phrases. It's very irritating after a while, especially when he kept saying, I was looking for a morsel of food. I never want to see the word morsel or hear it ever again again. Get a freaking thesaurus already, Jesus. The book is dripping in cliches and he's really trying to pull on your heartstrings in certain areas. It feels like it was fluffed. And the fact is that he's gone on and reiterated on some of these stories and completely changed them to make them worse. I don't know, the whole thing seems dodgy to me. So those have been my top 5 worst books of 2016. Let me know some of the books that you read that you absolutely hated this year, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye.